Hello my friends! In the previous episode, I told you about this strange phenomena that happened from 1982 onwards. But before them, there was a very powerful one that changed my perception of the world and my beliefs. I will tell you the key element of my fabulous destiny. March 1980. I was making love with Mary. That day hadn't particularly struck me, but at the time of orgasm, something happened that was unusual, which I was able to analyze very lucidly. I have noticed since then that at this moment of internal vision, I feel like an impression of duplication. One part of my being feels and another observes, until the moment of intense emotions, when it occurs, when these two parts merge into one. What I saw and felt that day was nothing known before or after that experience. However, during my wandering and during my past of a bachelor, I had many very different orgasms of varying intensity with different women, from which I draw no particular glory, but which allows me to compare. As I have realized that many people, both men and women, have never experienced it, this is how it usually feels. With the rise of enjoyment, our senses are close to the outside world. You can't hear, you can't see, just a great wave of pleasure that explodes in a more or less intense way and annihilates us in a deep darkness. It is also called the little death. But I saw something. I was in a reddish tunnel with walls enclosing me very pleasantly, which gradually, by successive strokes, I crossed. My whole consciousness was concentrated in one point before me. By analogy, one could say that my consciousness had concentrated at the tip of my sex and that this tunnel was similar to the vagina. I did not only feel, I saw, and obviously not through my eyes. I had the impression, after a while, that the light was appearing in the tunnel, and all of a sudden, I opened on the other side. It was like a platform on the side of a cliff, but without any material reality. I saw on my right a huge sky of a very pure light blue, very clear, very transparent, very, I don't know. It is a commonplace to say that words are powerless to describe this kind of vision. The blue was becoming clearer and clearer on the left, and intensively, regularly, my psychic gaze turned in these directions. I was very attracted, but at the same time a little scared. I felt my consciousness sum up in the two essential and driving feelings of the human being, curiosity and fear. But the history of the world proved it enough. It's this curiosity that always prevails. So I kept turning my gaze. The emotional tensions became greater and greater, consisting both of the fear that held me back and at the same time of the enormous curiosity that pushed me towards what I was going to discover. It became more and more clear, very pure, very transparent, and I saw. I have seen a disk or a sphere, a ball of white light, very bright and very white, much more than the sun, which is rather yellow. It didn't dazzle. I saw. I was outside, and suddenly, without transition, I was melted in the center of the white light. I was that thing. What an emotion! What a feeling of fullness! perfect happiness, love in the most universal sense, and above all, what certainty! It was God. I was God. At least a written plot will blend into its original environment. In fact, it was after I thought of God. At the time, the intensity of the emotion was such that I didn't think of anything. Mary had felt nothing special or different from the other time. I can already see the mocking and the skeptical smile of those who will read me. I'm not trying to convince anyone. I am testifying to what happened to me and what I felt. Only those who have had this kind of experience, if there is any, will understand. When we have experienced, we know. I could not say how long this vision lasted. I was out of the ordinary time. But if I felt a certain duration before seeing the white light sphere, the moment I felt melted into it, dissolving into it, was very brief, and I annihilated myself as in a normal orgasm. Since that experience, my life has not been the same. It is delightful to know that these first divine visions came in making love. When we think of all the prohibitions, all the blockages, the bullying inflicted by many religions, especially Christian, for all that concerns sexuality, it is to die of laughter and sadness when we think of those who had to endure all of these prohibitions. Has it not been said that God is love? His first powerful visions challenged my atheist attitude. After hearing the description of such an experience, which was only the first to happen to me, you will better understand why I insisted that you listen to the story that happened to me in the previous episode and that I will continue. Not only did I have these fabulous experiences, but I also received many revelations about what we do on earth and also answers to the fundamental question of humanity. Why do we live? Why wars, disasters, and suffering? 666, the end of the world. What happens after death? I will tell them in future episodes. But you can also buy one of the versions of the book I wrote where I developed in detail all these questions. The Secret of Apocalypse, Extasium. In the meantime, I will continue in the next episode the beautiful story of my fabulous destiny.